There is, a lot of times, the need to create a list of sequential numbers. For example, in the table of the current sheet, we want to add sequential ID numbers for each student. We know that in this sheet we can see the grades of 70 students. We want to add sequential ID numbers in the form 101, 102, and so on. One way is to type in the first two rows the values 101 and 102, and then select them and use the fill handle by double-clicking it to fill all the rows with the proper ID numbers.
This works very well, but it doesn't give us any control. It automatically fills all the rows of the table with data, replacing any data already there. There is a function that does the same thing and gives us absolute control, the sequence function. Let's go to cell A4 to type it and see how exactly it works. We type the equal sign and the name of the function, sequence. The function takes 4 arguments. First is the number of rows we want our list to populate. In this case, we have 70 students, so we type 70. Next, the number of columns. We only need 1 column, so we type 1 or just skip this argument. Since this is an optional argument, skipping it sets the argument to the default value of 1. Next, we have 2 more optional arguments. They both will default to 1 if skipped. The first one defines the start number of our sequence. In our case, this is 101. And the last argument sets the step, the amount to increment each subsequent value in the array. We want this to be 1, so we can skip it if we want to. Hitting Enter fills our column with the required values.
This function belongs to a new kind of functions added to the latest Office version. These functions spill their results to the other cells. If we click on the other cells, we can see that the value in the formula bar is grayed out. If we change this value, for example, write a number and hit Enter, our list vanishes and the spill error appears in cell A4. This error means that the spill range isn't blank. If we delete the value we changed, our list appears again. Let's create a new sheet to try one more example.
In this new blank sheet, we want to create a sequential array of numbers that will populate an area 6 columns wide and 10 rows tall. This area should start in cell A1. So, we go to cell A1 and type the function name. We use 10 for rows and 6 for columns. Let's say we want to randomize our list a bit. We want it to start from a random number between 10 and 20. So we type the runBetween function with the first argument set to 10 and the second to 20. We want to randomize it even more by selecting a random number as the step. We want the step to be a random decimal number between 0 and 1. So the run function is the one we need. We hit Enter and we have our random sequential array of numbers. Let's take a look at it. The lowest value is the one on the upper left corner of the cell area, while the greatest number is at the lower right of the area. In each row, the sequence goes from the left, which contains the smaller number of the row, to the right, which contains the largest number of the row.
Every time we calculate a sheet, either by hitting on F9 or by going to the Formulas tab of the ribbon and click one of the Calculate buttons, the Calculate Now or the Calculate Sheet, our sequence changes.
The sequence function is a very welcome new addition to Excel. And along with its other spill function siblings, they extend Excel's functionality to new levels.